The Cars on the Road Mini Racers Truck Stop 3-pack includes what I think has to be one of the funniest misfires in the entire 6-year history of the Mini Racers line. It includes Gray the Dynaco Cab, who did not appear anywhere in the Cars on the Road episode Trucks. That episode reuses a lot of models from throughout the Cars series, just slightly altered and tweaked to be new background characters. Gray was nowhere to be found. You know who was, though? You see, earlier this year, the Mini Racers blind boxes released a hauler cab named Gary, who was just a blank 2-color hauler cab that appeared in the Trucks episode. Gary, Gray, their names are one letter off. One appeared in the episode and one didn't. So I'm just saying, I don't think it's that hard to believe that there was some sort of mass typo at Mattel when they were designing this pack, right? I gotta say, I assume Gary was probably supposed to be in this pack, but maybe somebody thought Gary was a typo for Gray, who's also a hauler cab, or maybe somebody misspelled Gary so it came out as Gray. I'm just saying, Gary and Gray, one of them is in the episode, the other isn't, and Gray ended up in this pack. I'm just saying. Makes you wonder. It's a conspiracy, man. Anyway, guys, welcome back to yet another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Cars on the Road Mini Racers Truck Stop 3-pack, which includes Mater, Gray, unfortunately, and the new release, Erin, Kindafast, which has to be one of my new favorite Cars character names ever. On the back of the package, we could see Erin herself, Gray, and Mater. Really, really unfortunate that Gray made it in here instead of Gary. And I'm just saying, guys, okay? I don't know if what I said earlier has any merit, but their names are so similar, it really does make you wonder, was there just a mistake there with the names? Because there's no way Gray was always supposed to be in this pack, right? Right? When you have a character named Gary who did appear in the episode, maybe I'm just salty because, number one, Gray was nowhere to be found in the episode, and we should have gotten Gary instead, but also, I never found the blind box wave with Gary in it. Would have been nice to get Gary. Anyway, we'll take a look at Mater first. Look! It's a Mini Racers Mater! You know how many times I've reviewed one of these? Okay, I'm going to try to say something new about him, something I've never said before in a review of Mini Racers Mater. I don't like the face. The face is kind of ugly. Okay, I think I've said that before. The siren is almost always a little bit mispainted. You know that? Nearly every time. There's just like a little bit of paint globbing under the siren. There, that's something new I've never said about a Mater Mini Racer before. Now we can move on with the review. Let's move on to look at Gray, who should have been Gary. I reviewed Gray's Mini Racer back when he came out. Was that last year? I believe that was last year. And he is a really good looking Mini Racer in my opinion. I think he's got to be the best looking of the hauler cabs they've done. Or maybe Gail Buford would be. Unlike Mac, who really, really looks squashed, Gray, I think Gray turned out pretty good, and I really like his facial expression. It's adorable. While Gary really should have been in this pack instead, don't know how many times I'm going to mention that. Can you guys tell I'm kind of annoyed that he wasn't? I am excited to have a duplicate of Gray, because that means I get to repaint him into something, and I wonder what I'll do with that. You know, it sure would be nice if I didn't have a duplicate of Gray, and I got Gary instead, who should have been in this pack. I'm going to stop now. We get it. It's an error. Okay? Okay. License plate reads R6833. Is that accurate? I don't know. I don't have my original Gray diecast with me. I expected it to be a Dynaco pun. Yeah. Always fun to get Mini Racer hauler cabs. I know a lot of people don't like how they look because they got to be all squished down, but I think they are quite fun. And now finally, moving on to Erin Kindafast. She's named after a Pixar employee named Erin Kinda. There are several water tankers in the Cars on the Road episode Trucks. Erin appears very briefly in a few shots. There's one shot that entirely comprises of a water tanker that reuses the Mr. Drippy model, but that's not her. She's just in a couple of background shots. Trust me, it took me way too long to track down which one was her. It was like a whole team effort with my Discord server. Now, again, she is reusing Mr. Drippy's mold, which means, unfortunately, she has the same sort of chips in her teeth that Mr. Drippy has. If we could pull up my Mr. Drippy, you could see, yeah. Now, I do believe that is actually accurate to the episode, though. I think that, in the episode, the water tankers that reused Mr. Drippy's model did still keep those sort of chip in his teeth, or the missing tooth, or whatever that's supposed to be. But beyond that, it is just really, really nice to have a blank water tanker. It would be so great to get Erin, or really any of the background characters from Trucks, released in 155 scale. I've said this before, but for years I've wanted just generic sort of service cars, water tankers, fire trucks, police cars, just blank ones. It's really, really helpful while making a Cars series, or just to add to your Cars collection, you know? Very often we get cars like that, but they're Piston Cup security, or it's Sheriff, right? Or it's Mr. Drippy, who's specifically Mr. Drippy. It'd be so great to get some 155 scale releases of characters like this. Trucks was an episode of Cars on the Road I didn't really like, because there wasn't much to it other than the song, but it really opened the floodgates to finally get things like generic blank fire trucks. And all the 155 scale line has done so far is the one tow truck, Adam Rodriguez, who ironically is just reused from Cars 3 and still has racing logos on him. I've always really appreciated the fact that they included the water sprays on the back of the Mr. Drippy Mini Racer. Just really nice attention to detail. Look at that. That is really, really well molded. There's a look at the other side, and finally, there is a look at the base. A very interesting pack, a pack that would have been significantly better if it included the right holler cab instead of gray. That's just such a funny oversight to me. Again, I can't get over the thought that it was probably some sort of typo, right? Like somebody wrote down Gary and everyone else mistook it for gray. Maybe they shouldn't have named two holler cabs so closely, or maybe it was just another mistake. But I feel like that's got to be the reason, right? Still, it is a really great pack, especially for Erin Kindafast here, which, again, one of the funniest Cars character names I think I've ever seen. She's a really great release to have. A type of car that I honestly would have much rather had in the 155 scale line than as a mini racer, because there aren't really many background characters like her for the mini racers line. But hey, mini racers is an ever-expanding toy line with more and more new types of characters released every year, so definitely really appreciate that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye now. People are going to think that I hate Gray after this review. I don't. He shouldn't have been in this pack. I think he's a good mini.